Boom! Welcome into Sports Bet Betting Insight today, Thursday, May 4th. Big game breakdown, the amazing trend when a team's down 0-2. That's in play tonight with the Celtics and the Wizards. And we'll get to Golden State and Utah Game 2 as well. Deep dive. You're losing money and you're making money in Major League Baseball. We'll go over top 5 winners, top 5 losers so far. Little bullpen back and forth as well. Bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. Bad for the books, bad for our pocket. The Rockets blown out. Was a 3-point game late in the third quarter, even with a Superman effort by Kawhi and a bad game for Harden. But Spurs dominated in the fourth quarter. They took money bet up from 5 to 6. Now we want to know what's the injury to Parker as he was carried off the court.
Well, San Antonio, I mean, they came with effort and execution. 55% from the floor, 88% from the free throw line, and bad for our pockets. They were focused from start to finish. Look at this tweet from ESPN Stats and Info. Spurs had 19 assists, only 1 turnover in the first half. That's the most assists in any half with 1 or no turnovers over the last 20 postseasons, Pauly. That doesn't happen every day. You talked about Kawhi Leonard and the type of playoffs he's having. The guy has been an absolute monster. Here's the other tweet from ESPN Stats and Info. 81% from the floor. That was the best of his playoff career with 10 attempts minimum. And, of course, a career-high 8 assists to go along with it. San Antonio, wire to wire. Houston had their chances. They made a run, but the Spurs were by far the better team with the game on the line in the fourth quarter.
How about a bad bet? The Raptors bet down from 7.5 to 7. Blown out again in Cleveland. Come on, guys. Where's your pride? Average margin of defeat is 24 points per game. That is now, LeBron is 30-4 in the playoffs. The last 3 postseasons against the Eastern Conference. And LeBron last 9 playoff games, ESPN Stats and Info, 9-0, 35 points per game, 54% shooting, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. And, I don't think this is a big, it doesn't really matter to me now because you're going to go off on the minutes here. I think it's stupid that he's in the game up 28 with 9 minutes, but he's never hurt and he's never tired. So what's the point?
I know. LeBron, there's like everybody else in LeBron, kind of like the way we talk about everybody else in Tom Brady. When it comes to quarterbacks that are at 40 years old, LeBron certainly with the minutes. But hold on for a minute because we have to talk about DeMar DeRozan first. All right. This is the Raptors' best player. He's their all-star. He's played 66 minutes in this series. The Raptors are minus 53 with him on the floor. And last night, look, we said going into the series, Toronto, in order to compete, they have to get free throw attempts. They have to get to the line. Well, last night, LeBron with more free throw attempts than the entire Raptors team. DeRozan scoreless at halftime. Toronto's not getting whistles. DeRozan's facing double teams on every possession. And the Raptors obviously have not fared well given those circumstances.
Nope, you're right about that. That series could be over as well. Well, it is over. Who am I kidding? Bad bets, Blue Jays and the Yankees. Total bet from 8.5 to 8. Stroman against Sabathia. Went over in the second inning, and Judge hits another home run. His 13th of the season. That's a record, the most for a rookie in first 25 games.
Yeah, it sure is. But hang on, I want to go back to LeBron for a minute because we have to talk about the minutes, Pauly. We really do. This was the most insane thing I've ever seen.
There's nothing to mention. Who cares? He doesn't get hurt. It doesn't matter.
This is why I care, okay? Because when it comes to the Cavs who are looking to go to the finals, and you have a player who's played all of these playoff minutes, the Cavs are up 28 with 9 minutes left. LeBron's the only starter left on the floor for either team. The game is over. The Raptors already emptied their bench. And I'm like, all right, Lou called the timeout. LeBron's coming out here, No, he doesn't come out of the game. He goes back in to play 3 more minutes. It couldn't be dumber, and I understand that it doesn't matter. He's superhuman, but you know what? At some point, those minutes will add up. This postseason, and I'll wish he wasn't on the floor. When it comes to the Yankees and Aaron Judge, oh my God. How about this tweet from ESPN Stats and Info? His 13 homers, the most of the rookie in the first 25 games in a season in MLB history. Aaron Judge, in a big market, is certainly making a name for himself as a rookie, and the Yankees offense is just on fire right now.
Also another bad bet. Here we go again with the Washington Capitals. They're down 3 games to 1. No Crosby. They're going to blow this again. The Penguins had 4 shots on goal in the second period. 2 of them went in. 1 was an own goal. Shots for the game, 38-18. Capitals lose again, down 3-1. It's every fucking year. I can't believe it. How do you root for this team and this organization if you're in the D.C. area?
I got family that's huge Caps fans, season ticket holders, all right? And I feel bad for him. But you saw in the second, he's
Sure, best record again? Well, I'll tell you what, it's asinine that the two best teams in all of hockey are meeting in the second round. I mean, it is a garage league.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me. But, of course, when you're kicking in goals, for the other team and you lose by 1 goal, that's the type of thing that's happened to Washington so many times over the years, and it happened again last night.
All right, bad for the books. Nationals, 25-cent move. They cool off the D-backs. They get the win, and a 50-cent move on the Cubs in Arrieta. Wasn't pretty, but they won.
Yeah, I mean, the Arrieta was not an ace-like form, but the Cubs scratched out 4 in the 6th to kind of steal it from Philadelphia. A bad result for the house in that one. And, Gio Gonzalez has been bet on all the way this year. Did it again. I mean, Ricky Ray shut down the Nats, but Gonzalez even better. 2 bad results for the house.
All right, and one more. Look at this. Boy, the markets were telling you something here. One of the worst teams in all of baseball so far. They can't hit, but a 25-cent move on the Royals, which was anti-Pelfrey, and rightfully so.
Yeah, look, this is all you need to know. When a team that's 2-11 in the last 13 games, then they have the lowest OPS in the majors by a wide margin, and they're getting steamed up, the market is telling you something, and obviously in this instance what they were telling you was that Mike Pelfrey has no business as a big league starting pitcher anymore. That was another bad result for the books.
All right, can we get a series here in the second round? Can the Wizards make it interesting? That 20-2 ATS run the last year and a half, it's coming right at you. Up next in Big Game Breakdown on SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SBRPicks.com.
Go to SBROdds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.
Back on SportsBit, Betting Insight today at Pauly Howard at Teddy_Covers on Twitter. Time for Big Game Breakdown. Game 3. ESPN tonight. Can the Wizards make it a series? Wizards 5.5, 218.5 the total. Celtics lead the series 2-0. Adjusted series price, Boston -$6. Celtics 34-0 all time when they lead a series 2-0, Teddy.
Yeah, and certainly the Boston historically has done very well, but those type of trends, I don't put anything into it. This version of the Celtics is not 34-0 all time up 2-0. That's one of those stats that looks good. From a betting standpoint, it means 0 to me. Absolutely nothing. What about you?
The 34-0? I think that's a big deal, yeah. But the trend I'm more interested in is this one. This is great. And you think the books are taking notice? Look at this reaction. Now, this is the angle here in the last year and a half in the playoffs. You bet the team at home in Game 3 down 0-2, first quarter in first half. The last year and a half, it's 20-2 ATS, the home team. It's 22-2 if you want to count the Celtics, Games 3 and 4 in Chicago. And look at this. The line for the Games 5.5. Look at the first half line. The Wizards are 4.5, Teddy.
Yeah, and that's worth noting. They're not Game 3 and 4. Game 3 in Chicago, you bet them first quarter, first half. The Celtics would have covered. Yes, exactly. But as you mentioned, 10-0 already this year. And look, it's not like the Wizards couldn't hang. They lead in the first quarter by double digits in both of these games. But obviously, double-digit lead, not enough against the Celtics, particularly in that Game 2. Where you had one of the worst beats of the postseason. We're watching covered wire to wire. But, we got to talk about Isaiah Thomas. Not just a game for the ages. He scored 53 points. He scored, everything in the overtime and the fourth quarter. He was a dominant player. But he made the plays when they mattered most. Again, he scores 29 points in the fourth quarter in OT. The Wizards, as a team, scored 30. And remember, pre-game 1, he's flying back from Tacoma after his sister's funeral. He lands around 4 a.m. on Sunday morning. Pre-game 2, he had a 6-hour dental procedure on Monday to fix that tooth. This guy's insane right now. Brad Stevens, quote, "What else is there to say?" There was a point today where he was not feeling good at all. He had a tough day, and I thought he was going to really have to gut this one out. As long as he gut it out, he ends up with 50. Pretty impressive.
It's why why Barkley's out of his mind and the game's never been better. Remember, all these guys can shoot 3, too. Shoot from 3. How do I stop Thomas? He's 90% from the line. He's tough. He's quick. He can get to the basket. He can knock down jumpers and knock down the 3. as he goes for 53. Brooks, quote, we tried a lot of different things. The only thing we haven't tried is a triple team. We tried to put 2 on him. We switched multiple defenders. He's one of the best players in the game, had 53 on our team. We still had cracks at him, but our team defense needs to do a better job, including myself, end quote. He's right. They had Morris on him. Gortat even, which is a bad move, he hit the 3. And Wall, who was gassed, couldn't stop him either. Now, the Wizards led by 16 in the first quarter of Game 1 and 13 in the first quarter of Game 2. Starters can't play the whole game. Sooner or later, they got to put the bench in there. Unmitigated disaster for the bench. Let's continue with this graphic. Wizards bench, net points per 100 possessions in the series. Oubre, 54 minutes, minus 40. Bogdanovich, 27 and 55. Jennings, 24 minutes, minus 26. Smith, 26 minutes, minus 19 and a half. To put it in perspective, look at the worst regular season players who got at least 20 minutes a game or more. Bayless led the way with minus 7. You got to be kidding me. And how quick do those leads disappear when he has to go to the bench early in the second quarter, Teddy?
I mean, that's been the case in each of the first 2 games. And let's not forget, not only has the Wizards bench been awful, Bradley Beal was awful in Game 2. 4 of 15 from the floor, 1 of 9 from three-point range. He's been spotty throughout this postseason. Had 6 turnovers in that contest as well, and he was really bothered by the defense of Avery Bradley. Scotty Brooks, quote, we have to do a better job of getting their hands off him. If they're going to allow him to be guarded that way, we have to make some adjustments ourselves. He just had a bad shooting night, and that's going to happen. Now with that, we have to figure out ways to get him cleaner looks and cleaner screens so we can get free. Whether they're putting their hands on us or not, they're not getting called, so it's not illegal. Getting Beal going just one piece of the equation for Washington tonight. And we have to ask ourselves, Pauly, is this Celtics team, a team that had their issues down the stretch, a team that started 0-2 against the Bucks, is this team power rated correct against the Bulls, I should say, started 0-2 against the Bulls? Is they power rated correctly now? Or have they really upped their level of game where your full season, the power ratings aren't giving you the right number on Boston right now, and they should be power rated perhaps 2 or 3 points higher because of their improved play over the last couple of weeks?
No, they caught a break. They played well, but they caught a break with Rondo going out. Remember, with Rondo in, it was 108 points per game. With him out, it was 93. And then late in that series, it was 1-2-3 Cancun for the Bulls, especially Wade. And here, I mean, the Wizards, they don't play defense, and their bench sucks, so it's a great matchup for the Celtics, who, by the way, hit 19 threes in Game 1. So I want to see this test coming up tonight and see if they can get a game on the road. What also hurts me and factors into the power rating was a couple weeks ago with the 1 seed on the line, they were blown out at home against Cleveland. In any event, this total's too low as well. They're not making a big enough adjustment. There will be 0 defense played in this series. 5 of the 6 matchups have gone to the moon and sky high. All right, game number 2, ESPN, the doubleheader, live odds, SBR odds and Sportsbook Review. Check out the rating guide. Warriors, 12.5, 204 the total. Game 1, 106-94. Jazz in through the back door late. Lost by 12. Warriors set the tone early with defense, which led to their offense. Best way to score, beat Gobert down the floor. 29-6 in fast break points. 20-4 in points off turnovers, even though the Jazz only had 13 turnovers. What the hell happened to Gordon Hayward? He was a no-show in Game 1.
A really, really rough game from Hayward. And, he's going to have games like that, but he faced aggressive defense from everyone, including Curry. He was just 4 of 15 from the floor, 2 of 9 from 3. I wonder how much was defense, how much was fatigue off the Game 7. And Hayward, of course, I don't want to blame it on fatigue at all. They just came out firing and knocked us back a little bit. Worth noting, and good news for a rested Warriors team coming in, Mike Brown was able to rest the Warriors in that Game 1. The starters played only 16 and a half minutes of the fourth quarter out of a possible 60 minutes. Steph Curry, only 21 seconds of fourth quarter playing time. So the Warriors likely to have the edge in freshness once again in this one, just like they did in Game 1.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's one of the biggest power-rated teams in NBA history. Put them up there with the Jordan Bulls. I mean, you're talking about a second-round series. In one shot, they were minus 10,000. And now they win Game 1 by 12. They didn't even play that well. So who knows when they're going to be tested. We might have to wait till the finals. This team's such a juggernaut.
And the question is, do they get tested in the finals? And, you look at the quotes, from Steph Curry. Quote, we picked up right, we left off. I think our defense start the first quarter gave us a chance to settle in offensively and find our rhythm. That's what you need in the playoffs to really assert yourself and get the momentum on your side. And that's exactly what they did. Meanwhile, Quinn Snyder for the other side, if you have those moments where you're not urgent enough, they just punish you for it. But remember, Golden State did all of this great stuff in Game 1. Dominated the fast break point, dominated the turnover points. Played elite defense, shut down Gordon Hayward. They didn't cover the point spread, Pauly. They did not get the money, despite the fact that they played the Warriors didn't get the money, despite the fact that they played about as well as they're going to play.
The starters didn't play in the fourth quarter. They're up 18 with 250. I mean, they sat everybody. Then the bench came in, and those were scramble points. 8-2 closeout for the Jazz.
But hang on, in this point spread range, that could be a problem again tonight. That's all I'm trying to say.
All right, deep dive. MLB early season money makers and money losers coming up next in the play of the day on SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SBRPicks.com.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.
Wrapping up on SportsBit, Betting Insight today, Pauly and Teddy deep dive. MLB early season, recap the first month, top 6 teams in profit. You look at the Rockies, White Sox, D-backs, throw this graphic up, Orioles, Astros, and Yankees. Showalter doing it again. Bad starting pitching, doesn't matter. Good offense, great bullpen, terrific manager. Yankees continue to get it done with that great offense. And a lot of pleasant surprises there with the D-backs, White Sox, and Rockies, Teddy.
That's the whole key to what we're going to talk about. And there's 2 factors to consider. One, we're going to talk about bullpens. 2, we're going to talk about the type of teams you can and can't make money with in Major League Baseball. Look at this list. Rockies, expected to be, I'm not going to say garbage, but not expected to be real good. White Sox, sub-500 team. D-backs, sub-500 team. Orioles, right lined at 500. Yankees lined in that same range. Only the team of this entire group that was supposed to be good was the Houston Astros. So what you're seeing is the mediocre teams that are winning are the ones who are making money. Now, we look at the bullpen ERA, and this is huge, all right, of all the factors. And this is why we spend so much time, every time we talked about baseball in the previews, when we had the deep dive with Rob Vino, what bullpens are good, what bullpens are bad, what bullpens are good, what bullpens are bad. Look at the correlation. It's insane. The White Sox, one of the most profitable teams, guess what? They have the number 1 bullpen ERA in all of baseball. The Yankees are number 4. The Astros are number 6. The Orioles and the Rockies 13 and 15, but very misleading numbers. Orioles had a top 5 bullpen. They had 1 bad series against the Yanks. Now they're ranked 13th, still better than average. The Rockies were top 5. They had 1 really bad series against the Nats last week. And now the bullpen ERA is 15, but all 5 of those teams well above average when it comes to bullpens. The D-backs, the only one of the bunch among the real moneymakers that does not have a better than average or much better than average pen.
All right, to the losers now. No surprise, Blue Jays lead the way. You're down 11 units betting on the Blue Jays. If you bet $100 every game, you're down 1,100 so far. They've been a disaster. The Royals can't hit. The Giants in there, mad bum with the dirt bike accident. They've had their issues. The Mets, it could be Pulsifer, Isringhausen, and Wilson all over again. It seems every day there's a new starting pitcher getting hurt. Then you got the Dodgers and the Rangers, and no surprise, as you've talked about, Teddy, that huge tax you have to pay. Cubs and the Indians 7 and 8. They're only a couple games over 500. They're laying big prices every game.
Sure. And when we look back at the winners, about the money winners, we talked a lot about bullpens. The other thing we got to talk about is lineups. Nolan Arenado, he's a legit MVP candidate again. The Rockies tearing the cover off the ball. Aaron Judge, we talked about him and how the Yankees are hitting the ball. A.J. Pollock giving the D-backs a table setter that was missing last year. We're talking about some really, really good offensive teams. So here we are with the money losers, all right? And yeah, it's bullpen again. Texas, Kansas City, San Francisco, all bottom 5 in bullpen ERA. The Mets ranked number 23. Toronto's 8 blown saves leads the majors. So the only team amongst the money losers with solid bullpen numbers is the LA Dodgers. And of course, the Dodgers are laying a premium with most of their starting pitchers. But those are the bullpen issues. These teams all basically have lineup issues as well. Jose Bautista, what's he have? Twice as many strikeouts as hits this year? Nearly. He only has 2 home runs on the season. And, of course, the Mets, with all of those god-awful pitching injuries. I don't know if Terry Collins is going to be around long enough to get a single Syndergaard, DeGrom, Harvey, Matz, Wheeler past the rotation. Probably not going to happen before he gets sacked. And, of course, the Rangers were hoping that Mike Napoli was going to be their, badly needed punch. The guy's hitting 160 right now, and he struck out close to 1/3 of his at-bats this season. So bad bullpens, bad lineups equal money losers. Good bullpen, good lineups equal money winners. And note that I haven't said one word about starting pitching, and yet the lines are going to be focused on starting pitching every single day.
That is knockout information. Terrific. Next week, team previews in the NFL. We're ready. We're going to knock these out coming up next week. Google Hangout tonight, 8 o'clock Pacific. Money time, play of the day. Hey, to be clear now, when the home team's down 2-0 first quarter, first half at home in Game 3, 20-2 ATS the last year and a half, 10-0 this year in the playoffs. So, look what the bookmakers are telling you here. Look at this adjustment. Let's take the Wizards minus 4.5 in the first half tonight against the Celtics. Season on the line. You saw how San Antonio bounced back after they were humiliated. This is for I know it was Game 2, but this is Washington's season, and you're not going to go against something that's 10-0 ATS in the playoffs. Let's make it 11-0. Wizards to get the money in the first half and try to make this thing interesting in D.C. Google Hangout tonight. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends. SportsBit. Betting Insight today on SBRPicks.com.